You're listening to the We Are Libertarians podcast network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 183. Are you kidding me? Of East Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by Dakota Davis, and then you can name the room.
Today's episode features Clay Morgan, Aaron Dicken, Darrin Jacobs, the communist, and Mr. Corey Murphy. We're going to be talking about, to all these guys, specifically about the paper, the article that was in the front page of the newspaper. That it was actually Clay Morgan's idea. I've titled this episode on the Facebook live stream Unity 2020. That is not affiliated with Brett Weinstein's Unity 2020 movement. We have started our own movement in Henry County, and we trump him already. But we are also going to be talking about, to these guys, about Parler, the social media movement. We have Do We Have a President Yet? And then Holcomb, Governor Eric Holcomb, is trying to
I think it's Comrade
back.
Holcomb now.
Yeah, he's on Darren's side, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking to these guys about all those things. It's going to be an interesting episode. We only have like 3/4 of a page of show notes, and that's because we knew Clay was going to be here.
My entire goal is just to make Corey laugh, and I got it done. I got it done before we even got started. The show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Hopefully, you'll learn something new. We'll try to provoke you. I'll provoke Darrin. I know that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we'll make you laugh, and I got Corey, so I feel better about it. Just did a really fun 20 minutes. It started off slow. Dakota thought that patron Zach Burcham's brother Jared was going to have all kinds of complaints about you from back in the day, and he had nothing.
We had Patreon member Jared Burcham. He was on the Patreon side. If you want to know who Jared Burcham is, the mystery man behind the curtain in the studio tonight that was taking our picture, you have to sign up at patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. He only mentioned one story about me as an apprentice, which was horribly disappointed. I wanted a clickbait I need to sign up for Patreon so I can hear all the stupid things that Dakota did, but it didn't.
Well, the scandal is what Japanese vehicle was Comrade Jacobs' very first car.
So how did I go from being a socialist to a communist? Is this because Joe Biden is now considered a socialist in America, so that makes me a communist?
It's all the same.
I think what I just heard was
once you're left of Holcomb, it's just downhill, man.
Yeah, well, I think what I just heard is Darrin admitting that he's left of Biden.
Well, I think that was obvious. I don't think there was any question of that. But
Are you left of Kamala Harris? That's the real question.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no one really does.
It remains to be seen, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. That's where you can go to support the show every month on the monthly level. Those are the folks that keep the studio paid for. We did have a touchy-feely moment whenever we were thanking Jared for signing up as the number 2 on Patreon. If you sign up at $50 or more a month, then you get a shout-out at the front of each and every episode. Those folks, first of all, is Mr. Chris Lamb, Christy Avery, Anthony Meyer, and our favorite car dealer, Jonathan Phillips. We also have T-Chip stores, tchip.com/BHOL1234 or BHOL mug. That is where you can go to get all your merchandise. We're going to have producer Zach Burcham, fill-in producer Zach Burcham, drop all the links to those in the live chat.
The real difficulty for Zach over there is going to be not being able to talk throughout the night because we have so many people here. Yeah. Filling the huge, luxurious studio paid for by the patrons, that Zach doesn't get a microphone.
He doesn't.
He's got to be tortured. He has to type. Basically, if he wants to answer, he has to put it in the chat, and then we have to read it. Yeah, that's the way this is going to work. So it's going to be
just like the old days, right?
Yeah. It's going to be, yes. It's going to be like we're going to make him watch from, he's got to do the work, but he has to watch from acrost H Avenue. Or somewhere north of Q, south of Q, whatever.
At least he doesn't have to use binoculars this time. Before he had to have the binoculars out.
He didn't appreciate those blackout curtains you put up.
No.
I'll tell you that.
Oh, what a shame.
All right, Dakota, do we have a new president? Is it done? CNN says it's true.
CNN said he called it, but I've been following people like Brad Brewer on Facebook. And if you don't know who Brad is, then he was on last week's show and we talked to him about the presidential election. And if you are on the social media site Parler, then we definitely don't have a president.
So
I think I saw floating around on Parler today that Trump was actually ahead in the electoral college votes.
So I will say that we got a tremendous amount of feedback after Brad joined us.
Yeah, we did.
Not a whole lot of people were supportive of Brad. They thought that
poor Brad.
There were some people that said I needed to let him talk more, and I was rude. But I also had people tell me that
those people just don't listen to the show very often.
This is what you sign up for. So, yeah, now you go. You guys have to signal each other. Remember this? We had an agreement. There we go. He's got you muted again.
See, I thought I read that it's Parlay, but most people are saying Parler.
Try again.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know about this until this week. I swear, I never heard anything about it, and Newsmax is a new thing to me, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It tells you how tuned in I am to conservative media.
Right.
You got to turn him down a little bit, though. How about this? Now you can get back to it.
I would like some waffle fries.
It's horrible. Oh, it's so bad.
So, having
a little closer. Try that.
I'm not going to move it after you nail this.
Wait,
you're good right there.
That's
right
fine.
there. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's going to stay
that
all
is beautiful.
night.
I'm going to take your picture just like that.
I took 4.5 years of French, so I automatically assumed it was parlay.
No.
But I haven't conjugated anything, since 2000.
This is an American site.
That's true.
So
I know
that's all we need to know, right?
Jeremiah and
it's Parler.
Jeremiah and I are in a group chat with a fellow who works for Parler.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Chinese owned?
I can't remember his name right now. I've never met him in person, but we are in a group. He has a Hispanic last name.
Oh, hell if I know. I mean, have you met me? Do you have any idea how many group chats I'm in?
That was like the only marker I could think of as far as names go is like Ramirez or something is his last name.
Remzo?
Yeah.
Remzo. Yeah, he's one of our many co-hosts. Remzo on the Weird Libertarian Network.
Yeah, he works for Parler.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So who's got an account? Who in this room has broken down? Clay's finger shot up, of course. Right wing Clay.
I don't use it a lot, but I do have it. Yep. It's on my phone. I've got the app.
All right, Dakota, you've got it?
I don't know. I don't have it. I thought I was going to get it, and then I looked at it, realized that it was very similar to Twitter. I hate Twitter. And I hate the format of Twitter, so I was like, I'm going to hate this too. So
Parler, that's a third pronunciation. A quick Googling. A unbiased social media focused on real user experiences. And
Lost me at unbiased.
You have to say that you're unbiased.
I'm going to click. This is like the Fox News. It's fair. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. The heel turn against Fox News from the conservative community.
Yeah.
It's been ugly.
Yeah, everybody is surprised about that, but if you're really plugged in, if you listen to InfoWars at all,
if you're really plugged in, right?
Then you already knew that they'd been dropping with conservatives for like the past 6 months.
So they're mad at Fox News because Fox News is reporting math?
They're mad at Fox
Fake
News.
Math. New math. Fuzzy math.
They're not mad. Fox News has their golden three, which are Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and then that one lady. That the female
Edie Donahue.
I don't think Ingram. Laura Ingram.
Ingram.
Gene Ingram. Everybody's a fan.
So all those are opinion based.
Those are their golden three. Conservatives still really love them. Anything else that is put on by Fox is regarded as CNN trash.
Now, if I try to join this, Clay, is there a referral code? Do you guys get credit for signing up?
It's ad free.
Not that I'm aware of.
He gets 5 stars.
Clay
gets 5 stars.
I'm going to try to sign up for an account here and see what happens because anything for content.
I mean, it was. Oh gosh,
Remzo
I don't know,
Martinez,
a year
that's his
ago
name.
or so. A friend of mine told me about it, so I just
the first choice for a country was Afghanistan. I don't know that I'm comfortable with this.
Wait, so a year or so ago.
yeah, it was like a year or so ago. I started an account. I haven't been using it.
You're so hipster.
I know, right?
Did this come up at one of
Or
your
was
big
even
Republican
cool.
meetings? Is that how this is like, hey,
No,
this is what we have to do to stay relevant?
I have a friend that used
need
to live
the-
here. He
you
lives over in Virginia now. He was telling me
Plus
about
one.
it. So.
Southern Virginia? I don't know if those people know the war's over, man.
Well, you know,
In Southern Virginia.
I just moved
I
there.
got to do the world's longest recaptcha. This is going to be good. Y
You didn't capture.
T.
But the great
Those
thing
are
is,
not
once you do the
obviously
recaptcha,
capped.
you don't have to you can post whatever you want.
Shout out to
Not
Forrest
censored.
Blank.
so
Right.
huh?
Isn't that like the whole thing?
You know-
that you can post whatever you want?
Only people. with-
Oh my gosh, there's a D
There
and
are
a
a
D.
few
Much. I mean, it's
rules.
supposed to be like
There are some rules like only verified accounts, only verified news accounts can post links.
So
Really?
Wait, can we get a definition of
Interesting.
verified
Yeah.
news?
It's like
Newsmax.
Is Boss,
Newsmax
is,
is
like
verified.
is Boss Hog going to be
It's
verified?
like the blue check mark on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's immediately asking
Are
me
you
which
gonna
one
put
of
a
these I
fake-
want to follow.
Put a
And
fake blue check mark.
Yeah.
next
My
to your
choices-
profile name.
his mic is not quite loud enough. I don't know if he needs
You
to be a
want me
little.
to move it
Yeah, right
closer?
there.
I want to
Yes.
see.
That's going to be better
This
for
is
everybody.
this is great. 5 stars. Would recommend sitting in this chair
You
with
need
this
to take
microphone.
you need to take the headset away from Clay because
The
Clay
number-
doesn't need it,
The number one
and
suggested,
then you can monitor yourself.
The number one suggested news source to follow is
There you go.
PragerU.
PragerU,
version
the
of
Babylon
Parler.
Bee, the
Right.
Daily Mail, Transparency. Oh man, I can't wait. I should go back and just
MMA Underground.
create one in the name of Darrin Jacobs. The very number one active user on Parler is Ted Cruz, followed by Sean Hannity, Mark Levin,
Yeah, Ted
Devin
Cruz is in
Nunes.
there.
Tucker
Okay.
Carlson's on this list.
This sounds like an echo chamber.
Travis Tritt, because
Travis.
Travis Tritt, Kirstie Alley. Really?
Okay.
It sounds like an echo chamber.
Well, and it is. I mean, that's why. I mean, I have it.
Oh
but
my God.
I don't really use it a whole lot because to me, it's
And now,
Facebook again.
and now I have to pick
In
my
a different
profile.
way.
I got to pick my profile color. And am I going to be red or blue?
Uh-oh.
That's divisive. Or
Purple.
green, purple. I'm going to be
Green's
purple
my favorite
right
color.
in the middle. Oh, but purple's kind of.
So you guys will laugh at this. I just looked. Who do I follow? Like, I knew I followed a couple people. There's 4 people that I
Travis
chose to
Tritt.
follow.
You follow Travis Tritt.
Laura Ingraham, Glenn Beck, Ted Cruz, and Zero Hedge.
You guys ever go back and watch,
Those were the 4 that I follow.
ever watch Glenn Beck, like whenever he was on his last bit on Fox News, like his old stuff on Fox?
It's not something that I search. It's not something that's in my search history.
It's pretty funny.
I have
He
never
starts
felt
getting-
like
he
such an
starts
old
like-
man as I do right now, trying to figure out how to use a new app right now. Like, okay, I'm hunting pick. New on Parler.
They already post that for you. I just joined Parler.
How do we overthrow
Shut up,
the
grandson.
government? Question mark. Also follow me on www.bosshogof.liberty.com because it's always
So
an
do you have
advertisement.
an account now?
Yeah, I'm at Jeremiah Morrell.
It was very,
Okay,
it was very.
I'm gonna.
It went very quickly.
Expand your horizons, Clay.
And-
follow Jeremiah.
And yeah. Don't worry about your echo chamber.
Get out of the echo chamber.
And I'm going to click on the button that says Parlay. Olay. Success. I have parlayed.
There's a 1,000
Would that be
character
it?
limit.
That's me. I'm there. Clay's going to
Okay.
be my very, very first parlayer unless Christy Avery just did
See
it.
if it works.
I'm waiting.
This
Yeah,
is
let's see
fantastic.
if
I'm waiting.
it
This is great. We've started a new social network. Darrin, how much?
Well, I think
What do I
Renzo
have to
did.
do to put you on Parler today? You're not on Facebook. Can we?
If I don't want to be a part of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
This was built for you.
Yeah, this was
Exactly.
built for me.
This is it. It already knows. Like the 6th hashtag on here is Fat Kid Club. I don't know what that means. Hashtag mean.
This feels mean. It feels very, very
Hashtag
mean.
Parler USA because that's better than the other Parler. I don't know.
So judgmental.
This has happened in a week where everybody's like, I'm out Facebook, and you have to announce it. You didn't really go to Parler unless you've announced your exit.
This feels like when everybody left the political soapbox for the uncensored political soap.
Uncensored.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what everybody's done?
And then immediately that group made rules.
How did you know about that?
I'm plugged in, man. I
I
hear
was
everything.
waiting. I was going to let the conspiracy
Yeah, how are
theories
you on-
fly afterwards.
How are you on Facebook? That-
No, well, my wife has a phone. Come on.
But does she have Parler?
You do what my dad does.
Maybe.
You do what my dad does and just watch Facebook through my mom's existence on
Yep.
Facebook.
So I did recently have Facebook, like, they put this screen over a video that I shared and called it untrue. That's the first time I've ever had that happen.
Interesting.
So what I do, I have a private group that just a few church folks, because I teach a class up there and everything. And so it's just specifically for them. I don't for stuff that might be a little controversial, but stuff I find interesting. So I don't put it out there. Right. So there was a video of a Zoom meeting. It was
Of the county council?
no, it was not, but it was this group that had several other groups in the Zoom meeting. It was their own words, their own video. And that's what I shared. And Facebook labeled it as not true. It was, what they were talking about was, surrounding the White House, taking over government buildings, things of that nature. They made a statement about, the people who have the guns win. And then right after that, they said, and let's be clear, Trump must go. Right. I mean, they were just very planned. They said we need to get better about taking over government buildings, things like that. Like they were planning out this action. And I thought it was interesting. I shared it with the private group. I don't know, 10, 12 people in it. And a few days later, I go and I look because somebody had made a comment and Facebook labeled it as untrue. It was their own meeting out of their own words. I just thought that was interesting. I never had that happen to me before.
Okay, Parler update.
Yes.
I wrote my parlay. I want the Titans +1, Rivers over 280, and T.Y. Hilton for a touchdown tonight. Submit. So I'm waiting on it to come back with.
Does it show me following you now?
It does, and I followed you.
Oh, great.
So
great.
we are connected.
Don't expect much.
So far I've received no feedback, and I've got nobody following me. So this is not going well. It did not ask me for a credit card, so that's something. I just immediately when you get on this network, you just have to follow Ted Cruz.
Real quick.
How do you get verified? Can you get a check mark? How do I? This is so exciting.
Ted Cruz doesn't have a check mark, so I don't think that we can get a check mark.
What do you think he's saying on here?
I don't know.
Should we
Let's look
check?
at it. Yeah.
Here we go. He
I
joined
like
June
Ted Cruz.
3rd.
I have a lot more respect for Ted Cruz now that he's got his beard. He looks more like a man.
Yeah, but when he came to Knightstown, he made an ass of himself, so we can't. All of Henry County.
What do you think?
I mean, hey,
What
you think
about
he
that
knows
night?
what a basketball ring is?
Well,
I
he
mean,
did say
he
that.
spoke
He did
to
say
Dakota.
that. But I was there.
Oh, you were on the stage.
Yeah, I actually did the opening prayer.
You didn't pray for.
I didn't pray hard enough.
You didn't pray for the right things.
What do you think? Like, what do you think he said that night? Do you remember that you didn't?
The
think was
basketball
good?
ring.
Well,
He called it a ring.
The basketball ring.
I know.
What?
And
Does
I
anybody
noticed
know anything else that
that
he said other
as
than
soon
that?
as he said that,
What
I was
Hoosier?
like, uh-oh.
What Hoosier would do that?
Right?
It's like
That got Trump elected president. That was it.
Here's Ted Cruz. Control of the Senate hinges on Georgia. Let's hashtag hold the line, save our Senate majority, and save America by electing David Perdue and Kelly, whatever her last name.
They've already started fundraising
I would say Loeffler.
big time.
Loeffler. I would say Loeffler. Or it could be Loeffler, but I,
I was
think
going
it's
to say
Loeffler.
Loeffler.
So
I think it's like Jason Loeffler.
I know
NASCAR
that-
fans over in the corner will agree.
I know
with me.
that this is not on the show notes,
Uh-oh.
but they've already started fundraising. I think I heard that they did
Yeah.
what, 200 million in the first race for November for the general election.
Oh, I didn't hear an amount. I heard it was massive, but somebody had said,
and they're easily going to do that again.
They feel like it'll be record breaking. Yeah.
Save the
which is
Senate.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
From who?
Save America.
And I think
Save
that's
the
one
Senate from
thing.
who?
From the damn Democrats, don't you know?
And I think that's one thing that kind of makes
Freedom.
me sick about the whole thing is I was doing research and I think David Sadler spent $50,000 in his run against Saunders and lost. I mean, that's somebody's salary.
The local race.
Yes. I mean, years ago, like
Yes.
2006.
All right.
Maybe pre-Corey, actually.
Ooh.
Is
I don't know.
anybody
There's
running
a lot
against
of money
Tom?
in there's a lot of
Seriously,
money
in
in
the time you've been here?
politics.
No.
Not even me. I mean, I was I ran in 2012. I don't think you were here yet.
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says President Trump could lose if you don't take action.
This is just an ad it's giving me.
President Trump fought for us for 4 years.
He already lost.
We must fight for him now harder than ever, and establishment Republicans aren't lifting a finger. That means it's up to patriots like you to help stop the steal.
She evidently has not read Karl Rove's editorial in the Wall Street Journal.
Well, he's a Bush. He's
big
a
doubt.
Bush Republican.
Those
don't count.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Those don't count, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, if you've
Dinesh
lost Karl
D'Souza.
Rove,
All right, I've made my second Parler friend, Jared Burchman, patron. I found him.
Hey,
and I've
all right.
Did you
clicked on
join
him.
just now?
So J.S. Burcham and I are now Parler friends.
he's a city slicker.
Here we go. All right. I can't wait for
Fancy.
I
This
can't
looks
wait for
much
the
more-
fake news.
This looks much more clean than I imagined.
It's like there's
'Cause
nothing
there's
on
no
the
ads.
screen. There's nothing happening.
The
here.
user interface is much more friendly than Twitter.
Can I send it?
But
DM?
I wonder if they'll change it every 6 months. I want the old Parler back.
I want the old Parler that was better. Yeah. Oh, here's my messenger. Wait, let me see. I'm going to try. Abe Haler's watching. Abe, we just joined Parler. It's not going well.
If you're now
What's
tuned
up,
in to
Abe
Boss
Haler?
Hog of Liberty, we are currently doing a review of Parler.
Parler was one subset bullet point.
This is the
I
show.
think it
now.
was the whole show.
This is it. Jared, your mother's upset that you joined. I think you just got thrown out of the family. She's in the chat saying you've got to be kidding me. You disappoint your mom as easily as I disappoint mine. It happens every day. Every day I'll get a text about what I did wrong. All right, so this went great.
Final thoughts?
This is pretty much it. I think Clay did well. By the way, congratulations, Clay. You won your election.
Hey, thanks.
Third place.
Third place is still good.
The last transfer spot belongs to you.
Right.
I know that Mrs. Morgan is not that happy about it.
Well,
you said that the last time
she's okay. She let him run.
Yeah.
She let him run.
Well, the last time he was on the show, he was not the last time you were. At that point, you had made up your mind, obviously, because we were in the primary show. But the time before that, you said you weren't sure if you were going to run again.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, your wife was liking the sounds of not having Councilman Clay Morgan in front of your name.
Well, she actually told me, I think it was during the primary race. She said, I wouldn't be sad if you lost.
Only verified users can send messages. I can't harass Jared because he's not. Somebody's not verified. I'm being suppressed. This is unfair.
So Facebook does this interesting thing now.
I'm out.
And I assume this is because of a lot of harassment, unfortunately, with female users.
I was going to ask for nudes from Jared, and I can't ask him because...
that's kind of where this story is going. I had a potential customer reach out to me not through my business page, but we are not connected on Facebook. And they sent me a picture of a table that they wanted. And Facebook does a thing where it's like, are you sure you want to see this photo? And it was like,
I don't know, do I?
I was like, she said it's of a table. So I clicked open view photo, and then it gives you a bigger message, and it was like, by clicking OK, you are unblocking the blur on the photograph. And I was like, geez, yes, I want to see the table. It was
now you got me interested, right?
Yeah.
What position is called the table?
It legitimately was a table. It was a dining room table and chairs.
Warning.
You're 2 minutes shy. You're 2 minutes shy.
Warning.
Just checking.
Yeah.
PG-13.
I'm just checking.
But yeah, Facebook is doing that now. I thought that was interesting. Then that's what ultimately, made me interested in Parler. I thought, wow, this censorship is just too much.
I would be interested, see if there's research out there about the average age of the users of Facebook compared to Parler.
Probably double.
Yeah, I would say so.
Average. I bet they don't have a legacy contact on Parler yet.
While you are looking that up, we're going to run through some numbers. Eric Holcomb gave us a COVID-19 presser, and he is there. He's not going statewide. He's saying that he's going to be counting on the counties that aren't doing so hot in the fight against COVID-19.
which is all of us.
Yeah.
The
Well,
whole state is.
No, there's like 5 counties that aren't orange yet.
I'm specifically
Yeah.
talking to Henry County right now because that's all that matters to me in my heart. Holcomb is reverting us back essentially to stage 4 since we are in Orange County, and that means restaurants at 75% capacity again, bars are at 50% capacity, theaters have to be at 50% capacity, gatherings
Theaters.
Theaters.
Yeah.
What's a theater?
We haven't had a theater since the 80s.
Yeah.
Well,
if
you
they
mean the
hurry up-
amphitheater at Memorial Park?
If they hurry up and get that one built by the YMCA I've heard about for the last 3 years, then the
Last
rules
I
don't
heard,
apply there.
they were still wanting to do it.
Gatherings over 50 people need prior approval from the county health department.
We can't build anything in this town, man. Have you checked?
You already did.
And there are, of course, strict 6-foot distancing guidelines and mask requirements when you are in a public space. We're in a private facility. We've all been tested. We have a huge testing
I'm
budget.
immune. I'm immune.
Yeah, you've had the Rona.
I am.
immune.
I am
You're
as
good.
well.
You're
I'm-
lying.
I'm just saying
That
I'm
is
immune.
fake news.
Now, how long does this immunity last?
Forever.
The last,
Past January 20th.
Did you read that on
Past
Parler?
January
Did you
20th.
read that on Parler?
I
last,
posted it on
Newsmax.
Parler, and it hasn't been blurred out.
the last research paper that I saw about the immunity, they were estimating it would be about a 4-month time span, which would be similar to like other coronaviruses, like the common cold. You have that would be like why during late fall you get a cold and throughout the winter you don't have one again, but you might have one at the last bit of winter at the springtime.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look
They're thinking
at
that might
Dakota.
be the same thing. That was the last that I saw.
I'm over here learning the computer.
Dr. Davis sounds really good.
Dr. Davis.
I mean, the governor's a
Sometimes
doctor.
I
Why
call
not you?
myself a doctor,
Yeah.
to quote our governor.
Yeah.
Sometimes Audrey calls him doctor. This is going great.
When they,
Dr.
the
Feelgood.
table, right?
Yeah. Sometimes they go in the garage and play table.
Did you ever find that in your Google results?
Yes,
I thought that's what you were looking up.
Yeah, I was Googling tables, but yeah, the average age of a the damn thing had the safe search turned on though, so I didn't see what I thought I was going to see. What's the conservative equivalent of Google? 40.5 is the average age
DuckDuckGo,
of
I
a
guess.
Facebook user. And the average age of a Parler user is a United States-based microblogging and social media.
They don't
know that yet.
What about Twitter? Look that up for me really quick.
Average
That's
age
actually-
of
no, I guess
a
that's pretty accurate.
Twitter user.
27.5.
40.
Really?
40.
Same.
All right, here we go.
Does that
Instagram.
include like
Snapchat.
the age of Russian bots?
What about TalkTick?
Talk tick. Let's go. Let's do it.
Snapchat users
17.
are
No,
between
it's
26
Chat
and
Snap. Chat
35.
Snap.
The funniest thing last week was when Dakota was completely shocked that Brad Brewer actually is an active TikTok user.
Oh,
I
wow.
was shocked. I thought
60%.
Seriously, you're not going to listen to your president?
Wow.
60% of TikTok
Right?
users are between 16 and 24.
There's the future.
That's it.
That's the future of America, right
Speaking
there.
of all this social media, have any of you seen The Social Dilemma?
Yes.
I started-
Interesting.
I'm doing what a lot
Interesting.
of people with young children do, and I'm watching this documentary in like 10-minute increments.
So you are watching it.
I'm in the process.
You're working your way through it.
It's good.
I'm about 20 minutes in.
So
Actually,
now-
I don't know if it was
I watched
legal
a
or not,
solid-
but I showed it at my church class.
Welcome to Confessions of
for
the Crimes on
$3
Boss
for
Hog
the
of
low
Liberty.
price of $3 a ticket.
Yeah. But no, I did. I showed it to the class at church. I thought it was very interesting.
I saw a solid 7 minutes of that today.
Yeah.
So it made me feel good about what we're doing with our kids. And now,
Can I quickly create them all Parler accounts so that they're ready?
Yes, please do. And now when I get like the notification, if I don't read somebody's Facebook message right away and then it pops up and says, hey, so-and-so saying, I picture Pete, because that's who I see him as, is from Mad Men. That's that guy, like controlling me and saying, oh, well, he's not reading this message and sending
Yeah,
all kinds of
right,
stuff.
right.
You think a lot more now.
Why are you
Yeah.
getting out your credit card?
My
Getting out my
Facebook
driver's
usage went
license.
way down lately.
I can't send direct messages because I'm not
Don't do it. They're going to steal your identity.
Christy
I'm,
Avery
Joke's
said,
on
I'm
them.
using Dakota's card.
do not
Ready?
put your...
We're using the webcam.
Is this how you get a verified account?
I guess I'm going to try to get the check mark.
I don't think that's safe. I really don't.
Yeah, you have to click take photo. Not upload.
You just upload image.
You just put your driver's license on the interweb.
This seems fake, man. I don't know. I'm going to use Dakota's. You're truly concerned?
I'm truly concerned.
All right.
I think you should
Ted
do it with
Cruz
the
is
backside with the barcode.
People can't Google me anyway.
Well,
and know that
but,
address.
you know, they'd have your digits.
All right. What are digits?
Your driver's license number.
And
Google's
your
trying to
weight.
help.
That's a way into your soul.
Google's
man.
trying to help. Google's trying to help now.
I'd be very, very nervous.
All right.
Well, in
Google's
fact, you
just there to
probably
help.
already have a couple loans taken out.
He's on Facebook. All that stuff's already gone. Anyway, this is actually going to protect yourself. You know
But,
what? You should
well-
upload it.
All right. We'll let the chat decide.
Seriously, Corey.
We'll let the chat decide.
Because of the big Russia conspiracy
No,
that
I
was
don't believe
floating
it.
around.
I don't believe it.
Well, I don't either. But whenever it was a big thing,
This is a bot free. There will be no Insta-hose
Facebook was cracking
on
down.
Parler.
And because Jeremiah and I host a political themed show, in order to continue to run advertisements on Facebook to get new users,
Yeah.
we had to
Verify yourself?
We had to verify ourselves, which was submitting a picture of the front and back of our IDs, submitting.
How about the utility
our
bill
full
here?
blood sample.
Yeah.
I had to take. They know I'm A positive now.
It was you had to submit your full social security number.
Oh, I'd be
Yeah.
out then.
It was interesting.
Huh.
So the things we do for this show, subverting ourselves to potential identity theft.
Guys, I'm picking up Parler
that's
friends, and I don't know who they are.
I have Nordic LifeLock.
Right.
I don't
Tell
know
you
who-
what, I recommend the identity theft insurance by Dave Ramsey. I mean, that is
Yeah.
just ID experts.
Yeah.
$12.90 a month.
Yeah.
Protect
I
your entire
do
family.
have.
Isn't it free with a credit union membership?
Oh, maybe.
I do have NordVPN, and that does come with a identity theft protection as well.
You guys
Since
are,
you're going to wave your driver's license in front of your webcam, you might want to take advantage.
Double
of that.
down on that.
You guys must
just
all
had
be
some-
at a great point in your lives because right now I'm just waiting for somebody to take my identity. Like Google, what's my social security number? And it reads it aloud.
You know
Yeah.
what's
I'm picking Dicken.
this is what's interesting. I'm sitting here listening to everybody talk. Again, it's like the article that sparked all this, where we all feel
Look
differently.
at this. He's moving us down the show
you know,
notes.
Well, Jeremiah wasn't going to do
all
it. He's
feel
too busy with the
differently
new
about
toy.
different Things,
I'm not
but
worried about it.
There's some major issues here. We all pretty much feel the same about. I mean, some of this stuff is pretty scary, if you will, right?
You're fake news.
It is. Facebook,
I mean, these are
Twitter
things we all worry about.
are.
Well, not Darrin. He's not on Facebook.
That's true. He's the safe one.
Just the uncensored political subject. That's it.
That's all. That's all. Nothing else.
Those of us outside of the group call it the cesspool.
That is also true. That is not fake news. Verified by Parler.
Anyways,
Facebook,
I just thought that was interesting.
Twitter, Instagram.
That's why I love you guys.
I am on Twitter because I like to follow the president.
Is that on camera? I think it is.
Can we see
Reach,
that?
I'm
reach
on-
into the inner thigh there,
I
buddy.
think it is.
I am on Facebook because most of my extended family lives in Tennessee. My grandmother
Shocking.
lives in Florida.
Shocking that your family's from south of the Ohio River.
That's my dad's side. My mom's side hails from Albany, Kentucky. Like a good Newcastle resident.
Right. Like all of the rest of you people.
I think we're related. No, I'm just.
Well, it could be. It's a small world.
You're all from
It's a
different
small
haulers.
town. But that, that's why, like, about a year ago, I decided I wasn't going to be sharing a bunch of political things on Facebook anymore. I wasn't going to indulge in that. I wasn't going to submit myself to that because it was, you put something out on Facebook that might be controversial, especially after elections as a libertarian. If you post something about voting libertarian after an election, then inevitably someone from one side of the aisle or the other is going to attack you and say, you cost my guy the election. And, depending on the mood that you're in, you can get a real endorphin rush from that.
Or in a lot of people's cases, how much you've had to drink.
Yeah, that as well. But just going back and forth and sparring mentally with someone over Facebook. But it's a huge waste of time.
Yeah.
It sucks your time away from you. And whenever I made like the mental note of not doing that especially after Audrey was pregnant, because I didn't want to raise my son with a dad that was all consumed by politics that didn't really matter. So that was whenever I made that decision, and it's worked out well. You go on my Facebook now, there's only posts of my hobbies, videos and pictures of my family.
Tables.
Yeah, well, that's a hobby.
It feels like you more or less use it for personal gain. You just try to sell stuff.
And then also, because of the show...
You have a Spiceland business permit, by the way?
I'm not in town.
Just outside town limits. Just
outside the...
Until Darrin annexes me.
Permit.
So I had that same epiphany. So, we always talk about echo chambers. And I always thought, okay, well, if I unfollow somebody or unfriend somebody, I'm basically creating an echo chamber, which I didn't want to do. But then I started to realize a lot of my back and forth with people, which I try not to do very much because of what you just said, even though I think when you don't speak out, that's kind of what has brought us to the point we're in. I started realizing the people that really wanted to argue with me were only waiting for those types of posts. They weren't commenting about pictures on my kids. They weren't commenting on any of this other stuff. It was just that.
Well, it's a real problem when they say, your kid's a communist too.
And I realized that's when I needed to start unfollowing people if I wanted to be passive aggressive.
But you say speaking out, but the people that, if you're speaking out about something, then the people who are going to see that and disagree with you, they're not going to change their mind based on your Facebook post.
Yeah,
they're going to change your mind if you're talking to them face to face. You happen to go out to eat and sit down with them, and you go, "Well, this is why I believe what I believe."
Right.
And this, and you might think
maybe
differently,
that's
but that's okay.
Maybe I'm not out to change anybody's mind because I don't think it can be done on Facebook, but I also want them to know that it's their voice isn't the only voice on that side. I want them to know, hey, there's somebody else that disagrees with you, and it's not just you.
Yeah, I read a book a while back that it was talking about this type of stuff, and a comment that he made that I thought was really good. He said arguing on social media is like wrestling with a pig in the mud. He said you both get dirty, but only one of you enjoys it.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, it's the way it is. So I've tried to cut down on that too.
I listened to a really interesting interview with a man named Darrin Davis, and I don't know if anybody here knows who that is, but he's a black man.
I was going to guess your Uncle Darryl, but then you just rolled that out.
I have an Uncle Darrell, but not an Uncle Darryl. But Darrin Davis is a black man who's from the South. He's a jazz player, blues musician. And he meets with KKK members and other white supremacists and says, and his basic motto is, how can you hate me when you don't even know me?
Right.
But Darrin Davis isn't on social media making those connections. All that happens face to face.
So,
right.
And that's what the group of the six of us have done and maintained over the last few years, is a friendship across a very diverse political perspective, I think. Although I think we've won Darrin over many times. He just won't admit it.
I think we all know taxation is theft.
Yes.
Right?
We all agree. Just some of you people have no problem stealing. That's the difference.
It's getting very uncomfortable. Can we talk about Parler?
Go back to some of these guys
Somebody
have their
else
own
take a turn signing up.
Some of these guys have their own
10 minutes.
personal TIF districts.
Hey now. For you listeners out there, that's tax increment finance.
Right.
Carry on.
It's a tool or a club to bludgeon people with. You decide.
It's a hell of a tool.
That every county in Indiana
that everybody's
has,
using.
49 states.
What I've said is some of those are commonwealths. Get your facts straight.
Yes, absolutely.
Which state doesn't have it?
California.
God knows they don't need another version.
Well, they had it, and then they,
They had a small reform.
They had it, and then they propositioned it out.
Oh, the people decided they didn't want it.
Yep.
I'll be damned.
They figured out a workaround there.
I'm sure they did. Yeah. I'm sure they did. All right. So, well, I just pick on each of my friends individually.
Yeah. This is great unity.
Clay pitched the idea of doing a story just before the election because it was a divisive time. And we all immediately jumped at it. Even Dakota looked at the group chat for the first time in 6 weeks and said,
I was surprised when he jumped right on. Yeah.
No, the other time was when someone was selling a wine fridge, and he was like 5 seconds after. I'll take that.
Right. Right.
It wasn't a
5
sell.
seconds.
If it wasn't,
5 seconds.
he wasn't selling it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have jumped on it. He was giving it away.
Yeah, right.
I gave it away. We met in the safe parking lot just outside the municipal limits of Spiceland.
Arguably
at
the
gun
safest
range.
parking lot.
We met at the gun range.
Yeah, the safest parking lot.
Yes. Very
Other than the
safe.
police station.
Right.
so was it like you set it down and then slid it across, you kicked it and slid it across the parking lot?
No, he loaded it into my vehicle for me.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's all about customer service.
Wow.
Wow. I mean,
I think I may even have
I would have given you $10 and you wouldn't have had to leave Henry Township.
I may even had a suit on when I delivered it.
Meanwhile,
a sports
meanwhile,
car.
the guys at the gun range were looking at the video the next morning, saying, "What the hell just
one of the-
happened in our parking lot?"
Which one of these two is going to make a table?
Which one of these guys is the table legs? and who's getting drunk on Moscato? That's what they wanted to know. So Clay, what was the big idea? What did you pitch to Travis and this big spread that some of us made page 4 and others made the cover?
Right. Well, I was
Courier Times.
in quarantine, so I had a lot of time on my hands.
Oh, so blame it on COVID jail.
But no, I was sitting there, just thinking about everything. And I'm like, you know what? This would be a great time just to do something different. Right. Because like you said, I mean, it's very divisive. Everybody's at each other's throats. And, I don't know, just wanted to share something different out there. And just, I've said for the past year during some of the different, controversial issues we face locally that somebody has to be the example. Somebody has to show how it can be. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know, maybe I failed a time or two, but I've attempted this whole year to try to be somebody that could unite instead of divide without compromising my core value system. And me personally, I think I've done okay with that.
Hashtag me personally.
But that's what sparked this idea of sharing with the county that we all actually are friends and do get along.
So Darrin, we'll come to you. How do you view having friends across the political lines? How's that work out? Do you admit that you know us, or is this your coming out moment tonight?
Oh no! I mean, I grew up in Henry County. If I didn't have Republican friends, I wouldn't have any friends at all. I learned at an early age. To keep my mouth shut, keep my politics to myself, keep my mouth shut, and I'm teaching my kids to do the same. Isn't it a beautiful thing to be in a free country? Don't tell it. My kids, they were scared to death that I was going to put a Biden sign in the front yard. I'm not kidding. They were like, "Dad, we're going to get teased if you do that." So,
so you got a Biden flag for your car.
I get the biggest flag, the most beautiful flag.
He said, kids, we're going to have a winner, so we're going to have a Biden sign in the yard.
So I didn't put one out. But now that he's won, I went and got a sign. So they came home the other day, and there's one sitting right inside the door. My kids both freaked out. "Don't you dare put that out!"
Oh no!
I said the Trump signs are coming down. The Biden signs need to come up. It's time to go.
Are you claiming victory?
Absolutely.
You feel good now?
Oh yeah.
All right. You sure?
They rescinded Arizona.
You can't sue math.
Trump got Alaska.
Sue math.
Well, if we got Alaska, then
They refinanced. They recounted. They refinanced the election, everybody, and he's got a chance. The Chinese votes are coming over on the boat. They recounted Wisconsin, and it was about 200 votes that moved.
Yeah,
There's, there's
so
nothing within 1,000.
The former governor, Scott Walker,
Yeah.
Republican governor,
Right.
right after the election, said, look, it's a waste of time to recount on a 20,000 vote spread.
He said you may get 200 to 300 swing.
Either way, it could get worse.
Yeah.
I have a theory. It'll prove very unpopular, but I think this is just about fundraising.
He's got campaign debts he needs to pay back.
I think this is all about fundraising for the next adventure.
2024.
Well, 2024 or save Donald Trump.
We're setting up his news network.
Do you think he's going to be the next senator from New York?
No.
He can't win New York in a presidential election.
I don't think the fine people of New York would elect him.
Or Florida. He's a Floridian now, I guess. So him and little Marco,
who voted by mail, by the way.
That's I think they argued against it. If you vote by mail, those need thrown out.
Yeah, but didn't he vote by mail?
Yes. Yeah, Trump votes by mail.
I thought there was a picture of him looking over Melania's
that was from 2016.
Right there at the table when they were looking over the thing.
Yeah, that was from 2016.
Making sure she voted for him?
Right.
But in the past, Trump has always voted for mail because he's a celebrity.
So it's amazing.
You would get
so it would be
swarmed
considered
with
an absentee ballot.
It's amazing to
Not
me
a mass mail
that
ballot.
he spent so much time on Twitter and so much time at his rallies railing against the mail-in vote. And then when they go to count the mail-in vote, he didn't win. Shocking. Just shocking.
That's what I said last
There's
week
no
about Arizona.
surprising.
He pissed all over the grave of John McCain, and then he got mad he didn't win Arizona.
Right,
so
right.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably a bad move. I think that Trump runs in 2024. I think he wins in 2024.
Really?
No. He's going full Grover Cleveland.
The only thing that I think stops it is that a true man of God is going to run against him, and that man's Kanye West.
Man, I was like,
Yes.
I'm getting ready for the moment.
Take us there.
Councilman Clay was thinking he was running for president for a second ago. Oh, God. They're not going to let this at home.
I think
Don't tell
the only thing that throws a wrench in that is if Mark Cuban runs as a Republican, because I think Mark Cuban could win.
It's going to be some generic, plain, vanilla, white guy. It's going to be.
I don't want that. I want interesting.
Nope.
I want fun to watch.
You've had enough fun. You're going to get Scott Walker.
We've had enough fun.
You're going to get Scott Walker or somebody like that.
I think that that's what shot Trump in the foot, is that he was too much for a lot of people. I think that a lot of folks went to the polls and they wanted their sense of normalcy. They wanted their corruption to be back behind closed doors.
Well,
They wanted a president that said, we're not in Afghanistan because of the oil, instead of Trump who said, we're there because of the oil. They have a lot of oil. They wanted the lies again.
so Stephen Colbert said that.
Well, once we have solar, we're not going to need the oil.
Used
Problem
to
solved.
We got a guy working on it.
There was enough scandals, like once a week you'd hear something, right? Well, but with like the Trump presidency, it was something like once every day or every other
day. It's every hour.
And
But
so,
how
like, to
much
go
of that-
back to once a week would be a vacation.
How much of that, though, was the media telling people all throughout 2016 Trump is legitimately Hitler?
And that's
So now
exactly
whenever
why
we-
I
yeah.
joined Parler.
So, yeah. But whenever Trump gets elected,
But
they
you didn't
can't-
have to go to media, though.
They
You
can't
just had
let
to follow
Hitler
him directly.
run loose. That's how much of that was because of that line of thinking. They went into it automatically hating this guy.
You didn't need the media.
It wasn't just the media that hated him. It was Ted Cruz and Lindsey
Right.
Graham. Remember those guys? Remember when those guys hated
wait.
Donald Trump?
They were called
Anyway.
Never Trumpers. We thought that they would be behind the Lincoln Project.
Somebody may want to check on him. He hasn't tweeted in 8 hours, Dakota.
I'd like to put my good friend Clay Morgan on the spot here. At the national level.
Yes.
I mean, is there a national Republican Party left?
Don
or-
Jr. is supposed to be in charge of it.
Or is it Trump's party?
It looks a lot like the Henry County Republican Party.
Nah, we won't
That's
go
very-
there. We
very
won't go
splintered.
there.
They're split into two
We're going to
camps.
put him on the spot, not on like the hot seat. Okay,
Not in the fire.
yeah, right.
I mean,
Hey, man, you're good for 4 more years. Say what you want.
we can talk about wind and solar on the next episode.
Right. No, So, yeah, from the very beginning. So, full disclaimer, I think it's obvious, I supported Trump. I voted Trump.
Again?
Again. However.
You voted for him twice?
However.
Plus the primary.
However.
Son of a bitch.
Right off the bat, I mean, yeah.
Friendship
absolutely.
over. It's done.
That was one of the things that bothered me greatly was I saw the whole party all of a sudden now, because when he looked like the obvious candidate in 2016, all of a sudden the party shifted. Like just a couple ideas, and I promise it won't take long, but during, all
right, I'm starting the clock.
Start the clock. But, the whole raising the budget, right? Raising the debt, right? His initial budget was going to raise American debt. That's was a bad idea under Obama. Well, now it was a good idea. Well, that bothered me because if it's bad, right? But their argument was, well, it's
not if you're in power.
It's what it's for. Okay. Well, then, and there was a few other little issues that the party was always standing for. But then you're exactly right. When Trump became the man, all of a sudden things started to change, and it became the party of Trump more so than, say, the party of Reagan. Right now, I know other people would disagree because they would say Trump's like Reagan, blah blah blah. See, that's what I don't want to get into. You know what I'm saying?
But it's because everything has become so team oriented, and to quote the Honorable Sean Rao, it's all about who can own the libs the best. And that's where I feel like, to get us back to the show notes here. See, I'm pulling a Clay.
Yeah.
Well, you took him. You got 50 seconds. That was pretty good.
I mean, that's why I think this works so well, because for me, on the local level, party shouldn't matter.
Only on election day.
Right, exactly. Because
you're the one guy that's actually been able to work across party lines this year.
Well,
and you got something done
across the municipal and county line too. But I think that's where, like you said, the leadership and the example's got to start somewhere. And I think here locally, some of the people in elected positions are there. Some of them are in that team oriented, headspace too. And that's the people that are getting rid of those team colors are actually getting stuff done and moving our community forward. And to be able to do that on a national level, I don't know that we'll ever see it again, honestly.
Aaron, here's my question though, Aaron. So now there may be elected officials that want to work together, but even on a local level, when it comes to the electorate, the people that actually go and pull that lever, to me, it seems like it's getting to be more and more that no longer do you have local elections, that local elections are national elections. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't matter what Aaron Dicken's stance is on the pothole on 14th Street. I know he's a Democrat, so therefore he's a baby killer.
And that's why I think I texted you guys either Tuesday night or Wednesday, and I said, I had the epiphany that 2023 Dicken for mayor might be the best option other than 2022 Dicken for county council, because see how I threw those in there and stirred it up a little bit, because you're exactly right. And I think I've been so green and naive to think that maybe locally it does matter. And even as I had considered running this year for a state seat, I thought, okay, this was the year. Trump's up for re-election. There's going to be a bigger voter pool. And had I run, take COVID completely out of it, it would have been a bloodbath.
You could just run as a Republican and win on straight ticket votes alone.
That's true. I think this year was better than, because what was it in 2018?
You'll probably want to take a couple of Republican ballots between now and then you're golden.
Well, and that's what I told somebody too on Tuesday night was I think this shows that, for a Democrat to win locally, it's going to take Republican voters. What was it? Republicans for, or was it Democrats for small? Maybe there was a coalition there. Yeah, right. And there in the city, it has to take exactly. So I mean, it's not going to be team oriented, and I guess unless you're.
And for those that are listening outside of the city of Newcastle, Newcastle is an old UAW town.
Right.
Hadn't had a Republican mayor since the 1950s. And in the early 2000s, Jim Small won. So first time in 50 years, you had a
because of
Republican
probably that big Democrat push.
So just
Oh, sure.
just
Yeah.
a what if.
Yeah.
Imagine if the municipal elections were held in the same year that a presidential election were held.
We wouldn't be canceling, 80% of the races because they're uncontested.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it was great to have people show up and have one ward in 60% of the city to vote for. That was a fine election. One of our better moments. Corey, what do you think of this friendship? We asked Darrin, how's this work for you?
Oh, this is great. It makes life interesting.
You feel like it's steel against steel, sharpening your opinions?
Absolutely.
Nobody really knows your politics.
I like
That's
it
good.
that way.
I thought that Corey was a Democrat, and then he asked me to meet him at VRA.
Instead of Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. I'm surprised Spison doesn't have a Planned Parenthood, honestly. I figured if we were going to get one.
Oh, wow.
It must be.
With Darrin as the council
It
president.
must just be in one of the alleys. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm the bad guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the greatest thing about this relationship.
You've
is
crossed
you're
the line.
scapegoat.
Oh, that was too much.
You've crossed the line.
That was too much.
That was a little harsh.
Touchdown Titans.
I didn't even laugh at it.
Whatever.
So,
Not since the trash compactor meme of 2018 have I been in this much trouble with the fans.
so really, politics is about the art of the possible, right? I mean, so
Well,
you
for a
can't-
moderate like yourself,
I mean, you campaign well, so you can govern well. But there's a big difference between the two, and that's what this friendship, to me. I mean, this is all about a soundboard. This is all about ideas. This is all about compromise.
this is where we come and complain to each other about going, I had this idea that was going to be great. and then we console each other.
Yes,
That's basically what happens.
Well,
right.
but that's true. I mean, I think.
Like that time Aaron wanted to privatize city trash.
No, I think coming here, I was thinking about the first time I was on the show, and I had
You
no
wanted to
idea
ban-
what was. It was the four of us.
You wanted to ban all smoking.
Wanted to ban smoking in the parks, which I still think is not a
Everywhere.
terrible idea. Just for the record,
Well, it's hard to do through your mask.
We were sitting around.
Just a bad idea.
Just a bad idea. We were sitting around the table.
It's all about
and
freedom.
The segue into that part of the show was, all right, Jeremiah said, all right, I think it's time for a smoke break. And I was like, oh, are we, this is the pause of the show? And Clay was looking at me. He was like, and I said, oh, okay. But in all seriousness, I mean, I think broadening your thought processes is what this has all done. I've had some people support me. I've had some people challenge me, and it's all moving you forward.
I mean, our relationship started when Darrin was the county chairman, and you two thought it was a great idea to put out pictures in front of a white background that said, "Hey guys, do your best, meme me."
Yeah.
And then
again, showing how naive and green and positive of a person
about
I was.
6 hours
not
later,
knowing the dark interweb of the Wall Facebook group.
About 6 hours later, you learned your lesson.
Here I am with ISIS.
And you messaged me and said, "Hey, who's James Neese?" And I said, "Oh, just buckle up, buddy." And you've never done it again.
I've never done it again. And yeah, I guess I just thought better things were coming.
Nope. We taught you.
Yep. I learned quick.
Your friends will
Learned
teach
quick
you
exactly how low the general public could go.
This is my thoughts on this, on like the differences, I guess. I've thought about this previously, where to me, my tribe, the people who I want to take care of, are my closest friends and family members. And I think I would do anything for these people if they came to me and they need anything. Yeah, okay. It's not a lot. And
like even like we're talking even like your powdered milk supply, like any
what?
Your powdered your emergency rations.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. Just checking.
You need anything, any
Just
of those, any of the people who are my closest friends and family, I would help them without even thinking about it. There are a few people who, if they sent me a message and said, "I need a place to live. can I stay on your couch? I would say yes. And my thought is the difference between me and someone like Darrin would be that Darrin views his tribe as a lot more people. And he thinks that,
there's about 320 million people in his tribe. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, but he thinks that everyone should do whatever they can to help everyone around them. Whereas I think everyone should do everything they can to help out the people that they can, their closest friends and family. Is that at all accurate, or am I way off base?
No, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I think I think you're right. I mean, my opinion would be that people should try to help others than just their immediate family. I mean, I agree with that, and I could see that difference between. I mean, that is kind of a fundamental difference, right? Is the idea of what's best for the community versus what's best for the individual. And I think that there's a legitimate conversation, and I think it's a good conversation, because it's not all good one way or all good the other. I think that tension between that conversation of what is best for me and my family versus what is best for the whole community, and hashing that out is how you make a good civilization. I mean, I think that these conversations between whether it's somebody on the right or somebody on the left is supposed to be how our system works, where you find some type of common ground or middle ground
compromise
versus now where it's all about winning elections. I mean, we just talked about, Ted Cruz. We've got to hold the line. We've got to keep the Senate. And why is it that all government now, we're supposed to have checks and balances, but all federal government has to be one-sided party in order to get anything accomplished.
Right.
I mean, we used to be able to make compromises in the Senate and in the House, and it didn't have to be all one party.
In Ted Cruz's defense, if we want any kind of semblance of reaching compromises, then having a Democrat-controlled executive branch and House and Senate would not be ideal for that type of situation.
Right. No, I understand. I'm saying that's part of the problem, though, that either team or any team feels like it has to have control of everything in order to get anything done.
Right. Yes.
It shouldn't be that way. There should be the ability to have a Republican-controlled Senate that is willing to work with and willing to confirm a few judges, or willing to confirm a few qualified cabinet members, and to pass legislation that benefits the majority and I mean, those divisive issues are going to continue to be divisive issues, but can we agree that we can pave the roads and fix the damn bridges? I mean,
yes, please, thank you. That's
shout out for rebar.
Be very good for one of our lives.
And the system we have now instead is we have a super majority of Republicans in the Indiana State House, and if a Democrat puts up a bill, then the speaker just does what they can to kill it in committee.
So I think the difference, Darrin, in our view is that I think we want the same things, right? Mm-hmm. We all want to have a very similar society. It's just a matter of how you get there. And I always advocate for the voluntary side, so that guys with guns don't have to enforce it when people politely say no, and then it gets a little bit more stern. And that's the conversation we're having with the governor right now, because people aren't following the mask mandate. So then the next thing is that he in his office will throw a bit of a tantrum, and then people will fight back, and then it's going to escalate. That's always what happens with government, is it always escalates. And people like myself and Dakota will say, we'll call it out early and we'll be the crazy ones. And then people will say, no, you're being unreasonable. And then 4 or 5, 6 months down the road, it will escalate and they will have that moment. And it's just this pendulum that swings back and forth.
So what is the solution, though, at the end of the day, in terms of, just with the masks?
We argue it over it for a little while, and we're going to have a vaccine in 3 months.
The solution at the end of the day when it comes to masks is full transparency on all levels of government, saying these are the absolute facts on the virus. We recommend a mask whenever you're out and about and around people that you don't know. Someone might be coughing, then maybe you should have a mask on.
Everybody was blatantly lied to. If the masks truly do work, which it appears that they do, right? You don't see getting spread in hospitals. When the CDC told us a month into this, no, you don't need a mask, stop worrying about it, the government lied to you. We have to accept that now, that they either didn't know,
we didn't have
or
that
they they lost credibility.
And Fauci did come out and say that he did know that masks would help control the spread. However, he didn't want everyone to go on Amazon and panic buy the masks, and then healthcare providers couldn't get them. That was a shortcoming, because then all of a sudden, who knows? When was he right? And I mean, no one really. And that is what feeds into this system of you don't need a mask.
Once
Look,
you give that sliver of conspiracy, then you feed it into Parler for a couple hours. I should have some information back shortly,
Right there.
and then it's going to come back out, and I really feel like this show is going to be a big hit on.
So
Parler, I'm excited.
Isn't our response
Great for our ratings
now to the pandemic very similar to the 1918 Spanish flu in terms of?
Well, and that's kind of
that really
kind of a
things
trend.
haven't changed that much.
Still the same
Some
people.
comparisons that are interesting.
Right. There's two ends to a pandemic. There's a social end and a natural end. And a social end is whenever people say, we're done with this. And a natural end is whenever it's infected everybody that it can. So we are now experiencing the social ending of a pandemic. As we've talked about, my wife joked around the other day, and she was like, COVID's canceled, bro. Didn't you hear? Like,
Yeah.
no one... And that is because...
We're fatigued. We're tired.
We gave up Easter. Damn it, we're not giving up Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's because I don't think that anyone in here knows. I think everyone in here knows someone or multiple people who have gotten it and recovered and seem fine now.
We've got both sides of it, right? You've had
But
folks that have
we've also
completely
had-
recovered, and you also have those that aren't with us anymore.
Right.
All right.
But I think
then-
that's like the scary part, right?
It is.
I think I could go to
That's
Thanksgiving
what's
and
scary.
come back home and be fine. But as my grandma, like, I saw something that just absolutely sucker punched me was, this could be somebody's last Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to spend it at home away from them. Well, what if you're the reason that it's their last Thanksgiving? I mean, it's such a catch-22.
But it's a voluntary decision, right?
Right,
You can
right.
choose and to make that
And
decision
I think that's
and say,
just it.
hey, look, I'm 85 years old. I would rather take that risk and go
Right.
and be fully aware. At this point, you've got 9 months worth of information, and you are you are a
I don't know how many
individual that can
times
make your own decision.
I've told my grandma, no, we're not coming in the house. I just wanted to stop and say hi. She said, if this is how I go, this is how I go. And I'm like,
Well,
okay, that's your decision,
you
but I'm not
see-
going to be the reason.
Did you see there were people outside of there were residents inside of a nursing home? I think it was Kentucky, and they were protesting. They were outside in the driveway of the nursing home, and
Nothing
they
like a
said-
geriatric protest.
And but they had signs that were heart wrenching.
Yeah, right.
They were terribly depressing. That said, I would rather die from COVID than die alone.
Yep. And that's the catch-22 of it, is that, I mean, there's just so much of that going on. But I mean, you're exactly right. There's both ends of it. I've seen people that, seem really healthy that have been on a ventilator. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know what's going on. And that's what's hard. And that's what's hard about this is I think all of us would move the line wherever, we would all set the line differently where that line is.
In my view, it's consent. It's all with consent, and you have you know the risks at this point. You know that if you want to stay home and be relatively safe, you can, and if you want to have some quality of life or choose to live differently, you can do that too.
If you want to participate on a podcast,
Right. You're fully aware of the risks. You signed the bailment.
Yeah.
You signed. There was implied consent, and here you are.
And this is
all
also
fine.
why you should
Plus-
all be taking vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. And if you're not,
Save 10% by going to.
That's right. Hit me up. I will get you a 25% off discount to a monthly subscription. For
Are you
going to
offer vitamins on
It's-
the Boss Hog of
It's
Liberty?
important to note that we are all drinking, so we're safe. There
Boss Hog of Vitamins.
There are open beverages. Masks are not required. This is safe. Although Gavin Newsom did say that if you're between bites or drinks, you need to put your mask back on in California. So,
Well, there's.
but that's not the rule in Indiana. So we're safe.
Southwest
We're fine.
Airlines.
I've heard is if you start drinking cask strength bourbon, it's like over 120 proof,
You're good to
that
go.
it's going to kill the virus.
That's what I heard.
So
If it's
we've-
in your tonsils, it's dead.
We volleyed this
Perfect.
around, and I know I got Darrin and Corey. Aaron, did you get a chance to share why you love me Did we get to that?
I think I did. The Jesse French piano at the bottom of the stairs in my house would be one reason that didn't make it in the article.
I tried to put it in there.
I think, let's see, the girls' treehouse and swings is another reason.
Basically, I move heavy stuff.
Basically,
I live close and move heavy shit.
And actually, that's the closest I've ever been to you is moving that piano, because I'm pretty sure our faces were touching as the piano was coming down.
That was pre-COVID.
That was pre-COVID.
That was pre-COVID.
I knew I couldn't get lice from you, and it was low risk that they were going to jump off me and get to you.
Right.
So.
Yeah. This is where we plug MVP Barbershop, right? That's just, and I think everybody's kind of echoed the same thing.
Play check today. I don't have any.
There's been things that have sharpened my thinking, things that have broadened my horizons, and you just always want friends that are going to show up one way or another. And as crazy as some of the local politics has gotten, I think at the end of the day, we all know the character that's in this room, and I think that's what's hard when things do go awry locally. We're a small enough community that we all pretty much know each other, and to think that somebody is, working vengefully, and not saying that it doesn't happen, because I'm sure it does, but is just. There's no reason for you to believe that, because you can sit down and have a conversation with that person, or meet them in the diaper aisle at Walmart,
we're
or
all
whatever.
Pretty close friends, and I think I've been or seen everybody's house here, but I have no idea where Darrin lives. Honestly, I have no clue.
That big, huge 4-story house with the 5
giant
columns
Biden
and
flag hanging from the roof. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
That would be the one.
There's a fountain in the front that has a 2 statues, one of Karl Marx and one of Mr. Lenin.
Full-blown communists. I appreciate it.
They're both shooting water out of their mouths in a
into
heart
the
shape.
I don't know.
You vote for Bernie one time, and this is what happens.
He's the only guy that uses a sickle to mow his front yard.
Yeah.
I think
the thing. We've talked a lot. Yeah, I'm changing the subject. We've talked a lot about the political aspect of it, but I think, and I tried to bring this a little bit into the article, which Jer said that I'm only friends with people because of where we live. We're all guys of.
That was the joke that I told in the group. I'm like, well, I read it, and Darrin says, they're convenient friends, so they're close by. So I guess we could be friends.
We could be friends. But we're all guys of a similar age, married at this point. All of us have kids. Jer,
hey man, I'm trying.
So I think that there's a lot.
Swing and a miss, buddy. I don't know.
How close are you sitting to the soundboard? Maybe that's the problem.
Check on the table.
But I think that there's a lot of commonality there that it goes beyond just the political. We're all dealing with the same issues day to day with family and kids in school and just navigating those waters that I think sometimes.
He's talking with his hands, everybody.
Sorry. I guess not as bad as Clay. I think that
Clay won a county council race.
Oh my God!
Wait. So
that's a throwback.
I didn't.
Hey man, I'm 0 for 2.
I didn't realize that we could just claim to not have lost an election. So at this point, the 2014 county council race, I won that. If you count all the legal votes, I won that race.
And you don't count.
If you don't count the illegal votes, I won that. And
Stop the steal.
Stop the steal. And if I'd have won that, then when I would have ran again, I would have won again.
You'd still be
therefore,
winning.
I'm on the county council. I'm currently on the county council. So just be aware, Clay. I am coming. I'm going to sit next to you.
I think the seat that you were supposed to have is the president's seat. So you're the president of the county council and the Spiceland Town.
That's just the way it goes.
You didn't build a fence around the
couple
courthouse.
People claim that Darrin Jacobs does run Henry County, so I don't know.
You read that on Parler.
Darrin is a part of the Deep County.
Yeah,
you read that
thank
on
God for
Parler.
bureaucrats.
Do you ever watch Futurama?
What, have you run for re-election in Spiceland lately, or do you guys just keep forgetting to
We just keep forgetting to have an election every so often.
You last won like 9 years ago, I think, and nobody's remembered to schedule
9
a
years,
town
no
election.
Keep going.
When's the next one? I got to start fielding my Libertarian candidates in Spiceland.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a secret. It's going to sneak up on you.
You're in your third term, correct?
Elected once, he's serving his third term.
Yeah.
I think you're safe against Jason Marshall. I think he's moved.
Didn't
away.
you narrowly win a Democrat precinct
I
primary?
didn't narrowly win. I don't remember what the vote was.
I was going to say, is it every vote in Spiceland per
There were
Panera?
only like, there were only
all
like
the
50
Democrat
votes cast.
and all the Democrat votes.
Darrin won by 7 votes.
See, there you go. The percentage-wise, though, you got to look at the percentage, not the number of
That's
votes.
where it is.
It's the number of votes
That's
cast,
where it
and
is.
then how many I got.
It was.
The
I
important
think that
thing is
his
I won.
closest challenger was, or he had one challenger, and that challenger got like 30% or something, if I remember right. But there were only 7 votes that separated.
This is a glimpse into our friendship, everybody.
Beating up on me. I think
pretty much.
I think that.
What Darrin said, that's one thing that really drives me is the family aspect, because we all can relate, being dads and
except for Jeremiah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a puppy dad.
But
It's the same thing.
But we can all relate. We all live here. We're all, neighbors. We all want the same things: good schools, good roads, safe environment,
We want
good
really
jobs.
good roads.
You know
Law
what I'm
and
saying?
order.
We all want these things. And that's the commonality. And to be honest with you, so, the other thing that drives me, and has driven me the past several years since we've all kind of known each other is, some of us around the table has been through some things, right? Been through some name calling, been through some accusations, been through some, pretty harsh stuff on social media, which we've talked about.
After seeing each of you roll up in Bentleys, I am convinced you're all
Right,
corrupt and on the take.
But here's the thing. So a lot of these people know some of us just through those means.
Right.
But I've known many of you before all that started. And so I'll hear this side of it and I'm like, no, that's not the case. Like, that's not true, but you can't convince sometimes because they know better, even though I've spent time talking to them. Even though I've spent time setting
Why is he
breakfast.
pointing down here?
I've spent time at breakfast with some of you. You know what I mean?
There you go. I feel better about that.
Listen, I know you're not talking about me. I made a lot of friends on the county council this summer.
Right, yeah, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So I'm like, no, that's just not true. So for me, to be honest with you, that,
I'm hoping for some honesty from you at some point.
Right, exactly. I realize with some of my beliefs, like I could find myself in the minority on some different things. And, one day it may be this guy, but the next day it may be me. So if I can bind together with some guys that I know are solid and have some commonality and we can be who we are and we can relate to each other and be solid in friendship and relationship, then I'm going to stick with that and I'm going to defend against the garbage because someday I may need defended.
Well, and like Jeremiah said, the end goal is the same for all of us.
Right.
I mean, we're all invested in our community in one way or another. And I don't think anybody wants the worst for our community. We're all trying to move it forward in our own way.
That's not what I heard.
I know.
Yeah.
Some of you just want to bring guns and make it violent. And I just want peace and freedom for all. That's all. All right. We need to start wrapping it up.
You should get on the county council.
Man, I've tried. I'm not Republican enough.
We tried to make it happen. Tried to make it happen.
Oh gosh. All right. We need to start wrapping up here. We can probably loan a microphone over to producer Zach and see if he has anything that he meant to say for his only thoughts of the night. And then we'll pass it back over to Councilman Dicken.
He had some good
and work our
comments
way
in
through.
the chat. I was watching.
Yeah, I was trying to.
It's been several weeks since I was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'll always push L and K because I'm going to get some beef from them. So,
How much beef do they give you each month for mentioning them?
none. I'm going to go visit there probably tomorrow. Though.
Are they taking
Friday.
orders for Thanksgiving yet? I mean, Thanksgiving
I don't
pork
know.
chop or
I don't know.
Last I
Thanksgiving
heard, they were
steak.
sold out on beef until about February. So
But yeah, I mean, this is I kind of all these guys a little bit individually and like on the Facebook thing on the echo chamber, like it's good to have people in your Facebook that you don't agree with, but can have a great discussion. Cade Koger is fantastic, and he will talk anybody under the table because he threw on phrases. I'm Googling what he's talking about. He's like, "Oh, you're strawman." I'm like, "I don't know how to do a strawman argument is. Let me go look this up." But if you can have a respectful conversation, those are great conversations because you learn. And you get to have a different perspective, at least of why somebody thinks differently than you do. And then you know that they're not just like evil and get to know people. Like it's the best thing about local politics is when I was looking through the ballot and I was voting, I'm like, I know all these people and I don't care what letters next to their name. And I did see a race where we had a guy who switched parties to run and he had people tell him they would not vote for him because the letter changed next to his name. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing. And he tried to say that, but there are people that are that diehard. So don't be those people. Like, try to understand people, know people, vote for people, know who they are, unless it's like 9,000 judges that were on the ballot, because I didn't know any of them.
Throw the bums out.
Yeah. I should have looked them up. But, yeah, find people that challenge you, and show you different perspectives and do it in a respectful way. And then, keep those people around. Yeah, I'm with Aaron. Aaron was talking about you're trying to you unfollow, you unfriend people, and you're like, is this an echo chamber I'm creating? But sometimes it's people that aren't. That's what they want. I saw somebody comment on something. They're like, they shared something in 2 different places, and they're like, well, all I got was likes in the other group, so this group's a bunch of sheep. And I was like, this is hilarious. That she thought the group that everybody agreed with her were the right people, and everybody else where she was getting some flack were sheep. And I was like, that's the problem. Is she just wanted a group where she could say what she wanted, and she got nothing but likes and hearts, and that's too much tribalism. So no people on all the tribes.
All right, Clay, what do you got for me?
So running off what he was just saying, I know I've got running on the Facebook social media thing. I've got a couple people. One person in particular, I had this moment. I think Dakota was talking about it in the very beginning, where it happened recently, where I catered or lowered my Facebook use, but I go through my notifications every once in a while. And I clicked on one notification, and it was somebody that, I'm friends with, but I really don't enjoy looking at their stuff. And it was like, boom, right there. And immediately my stomach turned, right? Immediately this rush of like sickness came over me. And I immediately thought, why do I do this to myself? Right? Like, I don't have to do this. Right. But, so
I don't need this. I'm an elected councilman. Right? Don't you know who I am?
But the thing, it's like, I think you have to be, it's like what he was saying, you have to be careful because, who's in it just to get muddy and who's in it to have a good conversation.
Yep.
Because even with, there was one time with Janine Lake, back early on, her and I had a little back and forth on Facebook. It was, which I don't do that hardly at all, but we did. And it was good. I mean, we both disagreed on some things, but we both had a civil back and forth. Because I attend church in Muncie. We're familiar with the people she's familiar with, things of that nature. The only other thing I'll say on that too is I have one guy that I'm friends with that every time I post something, a scripture or something, from a Christian quote or something, I have a guy that immediately like does the laughing emoji, and then he will post these big long things about, how religion is man-made, and he just goes on and on and on, and but yet he still supports me. But every time I see him, I'm like, yep, there he is. I figured I'd see him again, So it's humorous, but again, back to end us. I'm glad we did this. I'm glad Travis did the article. I thought it was really cool. Got to read everybody's stuff. All the stuff that wasn't in the article was really good.
Clay sent us a text and said, write 250 words about why you like me.
Yes. And,
I'm on the ballot and I need to pick me up.
And what I found was we have a lot of common things, so.
All
anyways,
right.
No, this is cool.
The Honorable Councilman Aaron Dicken. The gentleman is recognized for 3
I was
minutes.
gonna say honorable is questionable, probably. Yeah, I just enjoy you guys both for the banter and for the respect. And that's the one thing that I said that didn't make it in the article was that I think what makes this different, like I said earlier about Facebook, is there's people out there that I just think they think they're right. I probably come across as differently, but I rarely speak in absolutes because I never feel like I'm ever 100% right.
You're a wishy-washy politician that doesn't have core convictions.
Bingo, right. And so, again, not associating with the people that are the 100% absolutists that are just in it to get muddy.
This is fantastic.
Has helped me. I've totally
This is how
ignored.
I treat my friends.
I've totally
You're
ignored
trying to
you.
stay in your own little space here.
Exactly.
This is great.
Exactly. I need a safe space like Parler to be able to get my thoughts all gathered.
If you give me your credit card, I'll sign you up.
So, I mean, I just appreciate that knowing I can pretty much put anything out there and at least 4 of you will, recognize that I'm just kind of speaking my mind, and then Dakota will at least say that I'm wrong.
Right.
So, no, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
No, I did. The one quote, and I don't know if you guys caught it, that didn't make it in was, what makes this easy is that I know at the end of the day, you guys know my heart. I mean, I know you've said that many times.
Right.
And like me, except for Dakota, the jury's still out on whether that applies to him.
Right.
I wonder sometimes if Dakota actually likes me. I'm really milking this bourbon thing. It's kind of like your younger brother. You're trying to figure out how to associate and get along with your younger brother, and you find that one thing.
Turns out you turned to alcoholism.
Exactly.
And it worked out.
Bingo.
My coworker said something to me the other day, and it's kind of like I kind of like to ride that space with people. But he said we were talking about one of his friends, and he was like, "You wouldn't get along with him at all." And I was like, "Why?" And he said, "Because he just talks a lot, and you're not afraid to tell people that they're stupid."
Well, what's funny is
I'm sorry, your time is up.
the one thing I was going to say is
Here, you can use my microphone.
we don't feel like we have to be right all the time, right? We don't have to shove our rightness down each other's throats. And I think that's one thing you said in the article, even though you enjoy telling people how wrong they are. But, and so I think that's it. And 2, I think each of us believe, because I know that's how I feel. I believe my ideas are solid enough to stand on their own. They're solid enough to stand the test of time. So I don't have to make you feel the way I do. Right. I think it's solid enough to speak for itself. So I think that's another common thread we have, in what kind of keeps us all just having fun together as we live this life in Henry County.
And I think that's maybe why people aren't sure how to take it. I know I'm getting ready to pass it that way.
They're the politicians. It's
I'm getting ready to
okay.
pass it that
It's
way.
all right.
People aren't sure.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
People aren't sure how to take it
Maybe
because
if you and your man hands, your giant, huge hands over there weren't messing with stuff.
All right, listen, I'm out of bourbon. Hurry it up.
Okay. People aren't sure how to take it because it's so rare that people in positions that we have are so genuinely concerned and want to, take into consideration everything that's being said. And that's where I've seen locally, people like you've got individuals in the Democratic Party and people just in the general public that have now become interested in local politics. And I hope that wave continues, because the more of us that participate genuinely, whether we agree or disagree, the better off our community is.
Ken and Gray did a good job of getting people involved.
Corey Murphy. Corey Murphy.
Hey, how much more time do we have?
And somebody turn Corey's mic on.
What's it?
This is Final Thoughts. It's your open platform.
What's the topic?
If somebody wants to locate a business here, how do they do it?
Where am I at? No, this is great. I mean, this is what community's about right here, is finding a few people to give a hard time, to laugh, maybe even to cry. And I mean, it's what makes living in small town USA, rural Indiana great.
Has anybody touched him? He's spineless, man. He's got nothing. There's nothing in there over there with Darrin or Aaron. One of the same.
I think he
So
just
anyway-
called you fat, Aaron.
Thank you.
I'm interested. Like,
Thank you. No. Thank you. It's all right. Turn it over to the comrade.
The gentleman from California is recognized.
I think what I appreciate about this group is the fact that everybody here has done something or continues to do things to try to help their community. So I think that that's one thing, kind of coming off of what Aaron said, the fact that something else that we have in common, even though we may have different political views, is that we're willing to roll up our sleeves and we're willing to actually get in there and help out. There's so many people that just want to throw stones from the cheap seats and want to tell everybody what they're doing wrong, but are unwilling to actually come and help and work and try to make things better. We may not always agree on how to get there, but I think that this group anyway agrees that it's at least worth the journey, worth the effort to try to do that. So I guess my plug would be that more people should try to get involved, whether that's to get involved through their parties, whether that's to get involved by taking and joining committees or volunteering for things. Groups are always needing additional help, and it ends up, and we all see it because we're all on 15 committees or 15 groups, and groups they need help and they need volunteers, and I think that's a great way to serve your community, and that's a good way to learn what we do have in common to try to bridge some of those political divides.
And don't give up too early.
Yeah,
some people try to get involved and then just you don't see them again.
I mean, how I got started in this was I asked the town if they needed some help with the park, and suddenly they were like, "You want to run for town council?" So that's how easy it is sometimes to get involved. Is just by volunteering to just do a little bit that you can find that it's something that you may love and other ways that you can serve your community.
And under Darrin, they've doubled their size. It's a land grab like the Louisiana Purchase.
Absolutely. Look out, Dunreed.
Dakota.
I have a couple things. As I've been sitting here, we've been talking. I've been reminiscing about things that have happened in the group chat. Different. It was brought up because Aaron mentioned the wine refrigerator, but I think that we have all benefited from our friendships with each other. Clay used to cut my hair and gave me a discount.
Yeah, what the hell happened with that?
I drive a big truck. I can't park it. It's very difficult.
That's the answer.
That's it.
That's
the answer.
We have been wondering. Now we know.
I've said it on this show before. Thanks for listening. That really is it. I drive
They are small spots.
I drive a Ford F550 bucket truck, and there's just nowhere to park.
Just take 2 spots.
Spiceland is easy, and I can park on the street right on my way home. Yeah. It's just
Do you have a heavyweight permit for town streets in Spiceland? Because they've got a 2,500 pound limit to all vehicles in Spiceland. Otherwise, you got to go to the town council president's house and buy the $20 sticker.
Yeah. But Clay used to cut my hair. I bought a pack and play whenever Audrey was pregnant from Aaron Dicken. I picked up a wine.
You said that wrong.
What?
That time Audrey was pregnant, not when she was pregnant from Aaron Dicken.
There was a comma.
This is how rumors get started, buddy. Yeah.
I guess if it was written,
you said it wrong.
If it was written out, there would be a comma in the sentence.
No, you didn't. You didn't pause.
Wait a minute. We heard it here first.
He didn't pause.
And then
the scandal.
I picked up a
real.
wine cooler from Corey. Whenever I was setting up a DBA as a handyman business, I talked to Darrin Jacobs about what the legalities around what handyman can do, legally speaking, in all throughout Henry County. Yep. It's all right.
Just had to check the boxes.
Listen,
just figuring out what the lines are, so he knows how far outside of them he is.
Are you still in business?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to talk off air. We're going to have to talk off air.
That's legitimate. I have a DBA set up as Beezer Creek. That Beezer Creek Handyman. I also have another one set up as Beezer Creek Restoration.
He's like Michael Scott Paper Company. He has no limit to the number of names he's ready.
They're very easy to set up. What can I say?
That's it. Yes.
Isn't Beezer Creek the name of like
it's the drainage ditch.
Drainage ditch.
Brook Beezer is the name of the brook that runs through Spiceland.
The former open sewer that ran through Spiceland.
And so I took the liberty. I have a small creek that runs through my property, so I took the liberty of naming that Beezer Creek because it branches off of Brook Beezer.
So this is how much you respect this friend group that you haven't advertised to us.
Well, I mean, he's on the Facebook. If you're just spend too much time on Parler.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I don't do a lot of advertising because there's enough people that know to
Councilman
keep me
Dicken
busy.
has pulled a Nate Lamar and walked away. He's gone.
But I was just saying that is like the friendship is beneficial. I enjoy being friends with all you guys, but not just because of the benefits that come with them, but also because I'm not married to most of my ideas. Not all of them the vast majority of them are not concrete. They're very fluid, and I change my mind as new information is given to me, and I can run it through.
It's because you're not 25 yet. You're not fully formed as an adult. That's
true.
That's the difference.
I'm very close. We only got a few weeks, and then it's like all my opinions are set in stone.
And then
so I got to
set.
make sure it's. I got to make sure it's. That they're all
You're coming
right.
to the age that every time your phone updates, it's going to be a big pain in the ass. That's coming.
It just updated last night.
And when you turn 30, it hurts to get out of bed. All right. For me, I'm very thankful for each of these guys. I'm used to losing elections. That's why I make fun of Darrin for it. But these guys listen.
I just don't participate in the elections, and that's how I win.
Some of them are elected office holders. Half these guys are, and they actually do listen and they care and they go through they have the conversation. And I think some of my libertarian type ideas do get listened to and come up in their reasoning. So I appreciate that. Talking about voluntary service over there, just registered this for Henry County 4-H. The junior leaders were going to be ringing the bell for the Salvation Army. They're looking for bell ringers. Big article in the Courier Times this week. Anywhere in the country you are, if you go to registertoring.com, you can sign up. In the COVID era, they're having a hell of a time finding folks to volunteer. So if you've got if you want to ring as an individual or if you want to sign up a group, they've got it all set up. You can manage it through the website. It's a lot easier to set up a group now than it ever had been before. And then they've got a little video that explains how they're going to try to reduce the risk, be contactless, you wear your mask and all that jazz, and they sanitize between shifts. So really neat thing. Next week's show, we'll be back on Thursday of next week. Nate Lamar, international businessman, former county councilman, former county council president, is going to be joining us. He had a big opinion piece in the Indy Star that ran this week. Very excited to have him on.
Will he sit through the whole interview, or will he leave halfway through?
I don't know. Aaron disappeared. I thought he was just pulling an 8. I don't know. I don't think Nate knew how this show worked the first time he was here, but I did clearly explain that he was on the very first video version of Boss Hog. So it was the first time he didn't know he was on camera.
It was the very first video show of the Boss Hog of Liberty, and it was also the very first time that a guest has ever walked off the show. And also the only time a guest has ever walked off the show.
183 in. We'll see if you keep him all the way through. This has been fun. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you.
When we're going to do hot peppers again sometime.
Oh, yeah. You need to bring them on.
When are they in season?
You have hotter ones now, right?
We'll set something up.
You gave us ghost peppers last time.
When
now you have
are
Carolina
they?
Reaper.
When are they in season?
We'll have to look. Next year. We'll do August next time.
All right. Oh dear God. All right, we'll do it. We'll see y'all then.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at WeAreLibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to WeAreLibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at WeAreLibertarians.com.